And in terms of like from a beginner's perspective, how would you recommend a person learns about the different methods of investing, what they can invest in, and all that sort of good stuff?
I can tell you that in my last 3.5 years at university, in like a business degree, they don't teach you anything about finance, like personal finance, right? Like a lot of what I learned, like the like rate of return, compounding, that stuff I learned right in school, but it was more of like from the context of corporations. But yeah, a lot of personal finance I've learned mostly from YouTube, pretty much. Like I just looked up videos, how to start investing 101. I look at what all the successful guys are doing, and just like following that trend line. And like the thing is, I'm still learning. I'm not an expert, but like the more information that you take in, is the thing with YouTube is that like once you start like searching up something, they'll give you recommendations based on like what you watch, right? So for me, I started off with like like we talked about guys like Matt Devella and stuff yesterday. So I started off with that, right? Because I started getting into minimalism, and like financial minimalism is also a thing, right? Where you don't spend unnecessarily. You don't spend on things that you don't need, right? You don't have to get that latest iPhone every single year. It just doesn't make sense, right? So I started off with that, and then that got into the trend line of people like Graham Stephan, Andre Jick. I talked about like a bunch of like.
Shout out to Graham Stephan and Andre Jick.
Huh?
Shout out to Andre Jick and Graham Stephan.
Yeah.
Shout out Dollar.
That's a thing we do.
They need it.
That's a thing we do every episode. Acha, by the way, Barobi J মানুষগুলোর নাম বলতেছে in terms of YouTubers will have their YouTube channels in the description below.
It'll be up.
So if you're interested, each one can point to wherever they're going to be. But if you're going
also
to
in the descriptions.
If you're interested in learning about these guys, YouTube যেটা বারবি বলতেছে is an invaluable asset. Like it's an assumption যে তোমার এইসব শিখতে গেলে business স্কুলে যাওয়া লাগবে অথবা মানে
you really don't.
but that's not true at all. There's a lot of people, there's a wealth of knowledge on the internet, so it's just your job যে তুমি যদি জানতে চাও তোমাকে খুঁজতে হবে like where you can find it.
If you want to take like that's the thing, if you really want to do something, take initiative, and like most things will just come to you, right? Like you like what